Hello everyone, this is Shiny Noctowls, and this dawn, I'm gonna be probably sleeping after this video, but I figured it'd be good to share this video before I head out. I wanted to share a very important video because I feel like this video has been a kind of a, I wouldn't say a long time coming, but I've been kind of gathering a lot of information and pieces of the puzzle together, as it were. And I've come to understand, just as the Gallic or Celtic or Aurelian um, Irish were connected to the ancient Greeks and to the Aurelians and Pelagians, I've come to understand that the Azir, or some may say um, the coming of the Asians, um, could be a possible link to the people of Odin, as well as tracing back to Mongolia. And Mongolia is really important because it also traces to some of the Native American tribes as well, like the Navajo, and there may be another tribe called the Mapuche tribe. And the reason why I want to share this is because I want you to pay attention closely to the detail of the drum of the Norse, the Mongolian, and the Mapuche. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, so the Mapuche. So you look at their drum, and what do you see in the drum? You see two lines intersecting each other, and then for each line, you see a symbol on the drum. I know it might be a little bit hard to tell. I'm going to see if I can get a better image of this. Okay. It may not load. But anyways, if you can see the detail, or let me see if I can get it closer. Here we go. So if you look closely, look at the symbols on the drum. They almost look a little bit like runes, or they could also be called Gurtek or Hunnic kind of runes, as it were. It's a similar origin. Um, I'll actually pull up the Mongolian drum. Let me see if I can get something similar. So look at, I know this is just one example, um, but look at their drum and look at the Mapuche drum. Look how each direction has a symbol. Look at that, each direction. Same thing with the Mongolian drum or Siberian drum. I'm going to see if I can get more examples. But I think this is very important to share because I know a lot of people feel like, they struggle finding an interconnectedness with others, particularly people from Northern Europe, from what I've noticed. But I want to share this because I think it is very, very, very important. Um, and as you can see here, this symbol here, I know it wasn't used in a healthy way during some of the previous wars we've had, but for the Mongolians and also the Japanese and the Indians, um, the symbol they have there, I believe it represents the four directions or the four seasons. I'd have to check. Um, Mongolian um, four symbol. Let me look here. Because I think this will untwist a lot of things. Okay. I want to make sure I get it right. See here, since ancient times the Mongolians associated this symbol with their statehood, and this sign was a sacred symbol. And then, but it also is used in India as well. Let me check here. And I want to do this because it helps untwist the symbol, the negative image. In Hinduism, the right-facing symbol symbolizes Surya, prosperity and good luck. Okay. Let me look at this real quick. Because I wanna make sure I'm getting this right. Okay. Let me look here. It's to untwist this symbol because I think it's really gone through a lot of negativity for a very long time now. Yeah. But yeah, no, I wanted to bring that up because I think for a lot of the Indians they were um kind of banned from using that symbol because of the hatred that it invoked in the past. But really, if you go back to the origin of the symbol, it was never really meant to be like that. Yeah. It's a very I know it's a very touchy subject for some people, but I feel like it's important to honor the healing or the original roots untwisted of some of these cultures of tens of thousands of years to understand them better. Because I know they have it in Japan as well, the same or similar symbol to the Mongolians and to some of the Indians, which signifies that migration. Okay, but anyways, I'm going to pull up a Norse drum. And so I'm going to try to see if I can find the similarities here. Okay. Let me look closely. I'm gonna see if I can get it here. Okay. I'm looking closely. Give me a moment here. Okay, look at the center of the drum. Look at the center of the Machipucci drum. It has the same lines. You see, which signifies that there was probably a connection, and this is probably why the Hungarian explorer Janus Morsi, or probably butchering his name, but this is why he could understand a South American tribesman, or rather vice versa, why the tribesmen could understand him because um, the reality is that they have a shared origin from tens of thousands or thousands of years, most likely going back to Mongolia. Yeah, and because just how some of the Norsemen were some of the original ancestors, some of them may have come from the Asian steppe. That was the same thing too for some of the Native American tribes. So if I watched this Norwegian YouTuber named Bjorn Andreas Bo Hansen, and he always leaves a positive comment towards the Native Americans and for example, the Cherokee. And it shows that there's probably likely a strong a strong connection even after tens of thousands of years with people who have really migrated um, migrated for a long period of time. I'm trying to see if I can find the article to this, but it was a very good article actually. Let me look. Hungarian, because the Hungarians, I know they're also touchy about this as well, but some of them were descended from the Huns and people from Mongolia. I'm just saying that it really does go back to um, it goes back to a connection from that part of the world. Um, Even if you look at the Gurtek alphabet right here, Old Turkic Orkhon alphabet. And by the way, Orkney, one of the isles in Scotland from the Vikings who came, it actually uh, comes from an Old Norse name called Orkneyjar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Seal Islands. And notice how the first three words are the same. Orc. So we understand that there was a connection between the old Turkic or Mongolian tribes who came from Mongolia and that migrated westward to Scandinavia, to um, and then the Vikings who came to the Isles. And then also when you think about Vikings and the Golden Horde, you almost get like a similar kind of similar energy in some ways, in the sense that both groups were known for their veracity in some ways, if you want to say it like that. But this is not always a negative thing because when I think about both groups, um, I think that honor deep down was um, a huge thing for some of them that really believed in that, that really honored it, as it were. I know it may not sound like that with some of the past history with the Huns, the Mongolians, and really, well, the Huns, yeah, the Huns, the Vikings, and then you kind of get the similar energy. But at the same time, this is why you bring healing to them and try to help them understand that, like, for example, when I wrote the poem regarding changing the story of, or, well, I don't want, but try to see how I can rephrase this. Because I respect Bjorn, I respect the other Norsemen, or really their extended family, because my dad's name is Sigifredo, which goes back to Siegfried, Sigurd, son of Odin. Um, and I wrote an alternate timeline of that Volsunga saga, where instead of Siggy killing the dragon, he sees a image of his father Odin, or not, well, not just an image. Odin appeared, and he didn't just appear in the image of a human. He appeared in the image of a dragon. And Odin told, and when Siggy realized his father was in the form of a dragon, um, because previously in the poem, when Siggy was about to slay Fafnir, Fafnir started crying, Fafnir's dragon eyes, and so Siggy started crying, and that's when Odin appeared. And so Odin told Siggy when Siggy was about to kneel, my son, do not kneel, for you are, or I'm going to try to see how I can say this. He said, do not, do not bow down to me, or do not kneel, and understand. This is what I told my friend Lilium, actually, my Viking Danish American friend. What makes you worthy of Valhalla is not how great you once stood, but how you pick yourself back up even when you have fallen into the depths. Um, for the rainbow Bifrost is still within you and can still be seen in the sky and the rainbow in the sky. Yeah, and of course I didn't quote the poem or the wrote word by word, but the main message is really understanding that Siggy, when Odin told him this message, um, Siggy turned into the form of a dragon, and then he saw the dragon no longer as a source of senseless malice and destruction, but as a guardian and healer. Because, and I know in ancient China, they had a belief that the dragons were kind of seen as guardians in a way, guardians or protectors, but really in the similar with Japan, I believe. But the original source of the dragon actually came from the Xinglong Hua people. The Xinglong Hua people lived in northeastern China, Inner Mongolia, pretty much 8,000 years ago, or beyond 8,000 years ago. It tells you, it shows you how ancient uh, these cultures were. You know how far back in time it goes. And I'm gonna check here, Mongolian view of dragon. Um, okay, because I wanna get the I wanna get a okay. I'm gonna see here. Okay, so this one says we are the inventor of dragons. Well, the inventor in the sense that at the time this was one of the earliest appearances of dragons to modern humans, in the sense that a lot of people believe that the earliest form of dragons came from Sumer, uh, you know, from 2000 2000 BC or Mesopotamia, but it really probably came or had some origins from the Far East when the tribes there were migrating west. Yeah, I'm trying to find this image. Yeah, no, yeah, this one. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when they brought the dragons to the west, probably what happened is there were those in Mesopotamia who wanted to selfishly use the power of the dragons for themselves. And so this is what caused the probably the whole problems with Marduk and the Sumerian pretty much negative patriarchy that really didn't honor either the divine feminine or the divine masculine. And so the reason why I talk about Odin and I talk about the dragons is because I think over time, some of the Norsemen may have forgotten the original image of their ancestor of Odin, of what he really represented. And I think that they probably had this negative image of um, I'm going to try to see how I can explain this. They pretty much lost their self-sovereignty, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is probably not something that Odin ever really wanted for his children, is what is the message I receive, yeah. And so once they can unbind themselves from their hatred and from the shackles that try to weigh them down, then they will understand the true meaning of their own sovereignty and of the message of the dragons. Yeah, that's the message I'm getting. Because you understand that the origins of the Norsemen weren't really from that part of Mesopotamia per se, but it really goes back to the Far East, at least when it comes to them, for sure. And I think even for the Celts or some of the Gaels, um, I think about the Basque people and I think about the Cats. And notice how cat sounds like Celt. Cat, Celt, Celt, cat, Celt. It sounds like it could have come um, from a migration that happened, uh, tens of thousands of years ago. And it is very important to share because, um, you know, there's a reason why, um, of course, you have the Irish connection with the Native American connection when the Choctaw and Cherokee helped the Irish on the Isle. Um, but yeah, no, it's very important to share because, and I'm gonna see if maybe if I can, if I can, let me see here. Um, no, because it's a very important message. Uh, okay, I'm gonna see. Okay, I want to make sure I can, yeah. I'm gonna add the Celts too because I think this is very important, even for us Gales. Okay. Um, so I think that okay, I'm gonna check this here. Basque and Native American. Um, Let me check here. Look here. Both groups had ways of living and speaking that didn't seem to come from anywhere else, or in both lived that way for millennia. Okay. Navajo tools. Outsiders in time came in and cleared it all away. The Basque are the Indians of Europe. Oh, really? What it's saying is that the Basque may have come from the Cats, just like how the Norsemen probably came from the Mongolians, or the people around Orknar. The Basque may have come from the Cats, and so where was the Cats' original origin? Central and southern Siberia. Okay, so this would have been okay. I'm gonna see if I can get this. Siberia. Oh, okay. Let me pull this up because I think this is very okay. So it would have been. Let me see. Siberia to Mongolia. How far is this? Um, is Siberia part of Mongolia? Okay. This is where it gets a little bit. Uh, it can be a little bit tough to really um, kind of bring this all together. But I'm gonna try to see if I can. Okay, so Siberia is a little bit further north, so it is a bit of a distance, but it's still, in all intensive purposes, there is that kind of link of migration, and this could be one reason why um, the Celts and the Norse sometimes they they're almost like the Norse are almost like our cousins, I guess, or like I would say Bjorn, for example, the Norwegian YouTuber. It's funny with him because technically he said in his video regarding connecting with our roots. That he's not just 100% Scandinavian. He's also part Celtic and half a percentage of Amazonian or South American. And see, this makes sense. And why does it make sense? And some might say, well, that's just statistical noise. And I would say not really. And why is that? Well, because remember I told you Janos Mariskal, the Hungarian explorer, when he went to South America and he was captured by one of the Native Americans down there for, and I wish it would have said the tribe, like, you know, but it could have been a Quechua potentially because, and I'm gonna see if I can link some videos in the description, kind of comparing the languages of Quechua, Mongolian, and Germanic and Norse because they all sound very similar. So it could have been the Quechua, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, he was captured because and this was in Ecuador, because he went to a site that he was not supposed to go to. And so when Janos started speaking, praying in Hungarian, the tribesmen, he cut the rope, and when the Hungarian Janos said, "Why did you cut the rope?" It, the tribesmen said, "Because you're speaking the language of our gods." So and he tried to share this with the world that there was probably a connection between Europe or the Hungarians and the Native Americans, but unfortunately in the 60s, his claim wasn't really accepted. And that happens, but I wanted to reiterate that because I feel like that his message really wanted to show that yes, there is a connection between our people. It's just like how Red Hugh O'Donnell told the Spanish king. He said, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, that's nothing for what we're talking about. We are the same people. Because the Book of Invasions talks about how the Milesians, who probably came from ancient Greece, and they probably were the Pelagatians or the Aurelians. They may have gone through Egypt and then to Spain, or they could have gone directly to Spain. But in my mind, I feel like they may have gone through Egypt first. Or, because I think about the Tuatha De Danann, and I think about this is a bit of a tangent, but I watched a video that when the Great Deluge happened, whereas in the Christian Bible, and I think for even some of the Jews, they talk about the flood. Really, this flood phenomenon was observed by all cultures around the world, even the Native Americans, from what I've read. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Okay, so anyways, they say after the Great Deluge, all these Greek tribes, they started separating into different tribes. One of them were the Dardanians, and notice Dardanian also sounds like Tuatha De Danann. Danann, Dardanians, Danann, Dardanians. Probably the same people. And the Dardanians, you also have the Danube, or the Danube, what do you call it? The Danube River. So you can see here the Black Sea, and then you can see the migration of this Danube River. My guess is after the tribes separated, the Dardanians, they could have gone north, through the Danube, and then they could have even gotten as far north as parts of Germany, maybe even parts of Denmark, maybe. They could have even gone a bit further north, but they probably took a migrational path that eventually got them to sail to Ireland. And then the Annonians, the Milesians, I would imagine they probably sailed maybe through Egypt and then through I would have to make sure I get this right because really the Milesians and the two of the Danan were essentially they came from the same people back from ancient Greece. They may have been separated into different tribes, but they probably came from the same people originally, thousands of years ago. Um, okay, so my guess is they could have gone through ancient Greece, they could have gone through Egypt, and then they probably sailed through the Mediterranean to get into Spain, and then they went north to Ireland. Yeah, that's probably my guess. Yeah. And again, this is all. I don't want you. I don't want any of you guys to take any of anything I'm saying as hard truth. This is just things I'm putting out because I think it's important to at least share, so there can be a discussion or a healthy discussion. And yeah, it's very interesting to learn about how we're all really interconnected, and you know, because I think that sometimes people think that they're really isolated and that they have no connection with each other. But the reality is we do. We do have a connection. Um, I'm gonna try to see if I can get this here. Oh well, here Eiru. It sounds like Eira. Yeah. Okay. No, no. This is. But see, even when I see this image right here, I think about ancient Greek. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can get this. Greece. Let me see if I can get it. See, ancient Danites and Danan. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Look here. Yeah. My guess is that the two of the Danan um, could have really have come from the Plagacians or ancient Greece, just like the Ionians or the Milesians. Yeah, yeah. No, and again, I know we're talking more so about Native Americans, Vikings, Norsemen. I just wanted to interject that with the Gales and the uh, kind of the connection to the modern day Celts or Irish or Scottish or Spanish or because there's so many different Celtic Gallic tribes really, not just in the Isles, but really also in Spain, um, a large part of France. Even here, the word Pictones sounds like Picts. So there might have been the original Pictoi. There could have been a connection between the ancient Scottish Picts and then the people who lived in Gaul or in France, really, or in modern day France. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the crux of the video. I know, I'm here talking more, or really the main part of the video is more so about Native Americans, Norsemen, Mongolians, but I just really wanted to interject with the Celts and Gales because we are also connected to those people who migrated, or partially to those people who migrated from Siberia as well, probably, I'd imagine, through the cats, I'd say, probably. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna try to really come back and as my Uncle Herman says, try to summarize what you're saying. And so it's just there's so much information that sometimes it takes a bit of time to really get it all together. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna finish this video before I go to sleep. Um, okay, so okay, let me check. So we did the drum. We saw the similarities between the Norse, the Mongolian, and the Native American drum, or at least for some of the tribes. Yeah. Okay, so what else was I gonna do? Okay, I think I already showed you the letters here for the Goturk people. And then I'm gonna check here because notice here, and I read a comment in a YouTube video that I'll link below regarding um, let's see if maybe if I can pull it up. I'm not gonna play the audio in this video. I'm just gonna read some of the comments. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get this. Let me see. So notice here how, okay, so notice this comment saying, I'm so surprised that Mapudunga words, syllables, consonant clusters, combination of phononyms look so European and perhaps also a bit Turkic. Very unique among South American indigenous languages. You see? And notice how when you look at the letters, they have the same two little dots up above, just like the old Gertic language, or go. I'm trying to. I'm trying to get this right. Okay, hold on. So at least okay. Let me see if I can get this right. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up. Two little here. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna. You can tell it does take a little bit of time to. Let me see. Old goat. Let me see. Hunnic script. Okay, so notice the two little dots here. It's the same with the Mupudungun language. You see? So my guess is that the Mupudungun or even maybe the Quechua, they could have had a connection to. Well, see, this is the other interesting thing too. When I think about the Mupudunga, I think Mongolian, but when I think about the Quechua, I think Mongolia too, but I also think Tibet as well. And I know with Tibet and Mongolia, and this is probably a migration of two groups of people who came to the New World eventually over tens of thousands of years. Similarities, let's see. Tibetans and Mongolians, although very different, share many similarities, which result at the very least from adaptation to climate and isolation. Nomadic or sedentary, these populations of farmers or breeders lived in isolation a short time ago. Yeah, so, okay, and so the Tibetans were originally part of the Mongolian Empire. Okay, I didn't know that part. But yeah, no, there is a connection between Tibet, Mongolia, the Huns, the Norsemen, and some of the Native American tribes, like the Quechua, the Navajo, the Mupudunga, And I'd have to look at Na, so it could have also been connected to the Athabascan languages, Ewok and Tinglet. Okay, so yeah, so my guess is really that they were, uh, it could have been the migration of the Athabascans down south. Yeah, that came from, yeah, because and I want to share this too because I remember when I, um, was doing my true ancestry, I pulled up some results that connected back to the Mongolians, and I'm gonna see if I can pull this up for you guys. Which also connects to the Norsemen, the Hungarians. It's really a migration that goes thousands of miles. I'm gonna see how far Orkney uh, to Mongolia to South America. Let's see how far this is in mileage. Or let's do Orkney to Orkhan, Mongolia. Let's see the mileage there. So this would have been 6,000 miles. Okay. And then let's do Orkhan to Lima. Okay, so this would have been at least a 16 or even 20,000 mile migration over thousands of years. Yeah, that's my guess. Oh, did they? Oh no, this is sorry about that. I pulled up the wrong the incorrect group. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, so I'm gonna okay. Already notice even with this though, Iroquois tribe, drawlers, St. Lawrence River. And notice how it says here the Ghaznavid dynasty was a Persianate Muslim dynasty origin that ruled over Central Asian Turkic origin. Okay. Yeah. And then here, look. Saka Ottomans, Mongol horde. Look here. Saka were a group of nomadic people who inhabited the northern eastern Eurasian steppe. Ottomans. The Ottomans, I think, were connected to the Oturks. Goturks, rather, yeah. You see here, Turkmen, Uyghur, Uzbek, Kazakh. Okay. Athabascan, but also Navajo, Apache. Hungarian conqueror, right there. Eskimo. Okay, this would be some samples I received myself with some of the Native American groups I was connected to, the 10 to 15%, or at least part of my rainbow, as it were, really. Um, Let me look here. See, Navajo, Apache, Tlingit. And so that's why I was saying probably the Quechua may have came from the same group of Athabascans who were going south. Yeah, because I know a lot of people they'll say the South Americans aren't connected to the people from North America, but if you go through the migration, they really migrated from all the way from Mongolia, Siberia, Tibet, and then they went westward to what they called the New World and went down south. Look even here, Mongolian horde, right there, Eskimo. And I know, for the Eskimos out there, I know it's not always. Sometimes they prefer to be called Inuits or other terms, but this could have been a third migration of people who came after the Athabascans. My guess is really the Neo-Inuits and the Athabascans were probably mixing with each other. Yeah, because people do mix, you know. It's just like people from ancient Egypt mixing with some of the Israelites and then going north and mixing with other groups of people. It's really no different. Um, yeah, so yeah, this is my guess right there. Yeah, Washington State, Apache, Navajo, Maya. See Maya right there. Mexico. 6300 BC. Oh no, this was 1% for me. The matches like that are really high here, especially like 80, 90% are more so connected to me specifically. But it seems like with the Iroquois, um, uh, Navajo. Yeah, I probably could have also been connected to the Navajo and then the groups who came from the north as well, the Athabascans and oh, it's a lot of work. But really, I guess the crux of what I'm saying is really it's all interconnected. Um, and so I I wanted to share this video because I felt that um, it was very important to share. I know this is just kind of a summarized version of what I'm trying to share, and I'll see if I can leave some videos down below in the description to really help kind of really build that connection between um, at least with the Norsemen, the Germanic, some of the Germanic people descended from Odin, or really the Azir, the Mongolians, the Huns, and the Native Americans. Yeah, some of them. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up for now. Hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and I hope it was insightful. But anyways, I'll be heading out for now. Slán go fóill. Bye for now, guys. Bye for now.